Okay. At this time, I'll call the meeting to order. Paige, I want you to do a roll call because I want to get in the habit of doing this. I want you to just do a roll call of voting members and any person that might support people that we might need. Okay.
Okay, Colonel Leeds, I just want to let you know that I am actually in the car driving, and I've had a family emergency. So if I have to drop off, Tanisha can do it, but I can do it from starting here.
Look, that's all right. That's okay. We'll just forego that this time. But since we do know we have a quorum and everything, but I just want we need to get in the habit of that, and in future meetings, I'm gonna make sure we do that, especially while we're virtual. You know. Okay. It has been
you still want us to do it anyways, just to practice?
Say again?
Do you still want us to do the roll call anyways, just to practice, since she's still able to do so?
Well, she's driving, so I won't bother with it today.
Okay.
I'm okay. I'm honestly okay, Colonel Leeds, if you would like for me to do it.
Well, that's okay. We'll go ahead. We've determined we have a quorum, so let's go ahead to the next item, which will be adoption of the agenda.
So moved.
Can I get a motion? Okay. Can I get a second?
A second.
Okay, properly moved in second. Is there any discussion of the agenda? If not, then we'll go ahead and call for the question. All in favor of adaptation of this agenda, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Negatives? No negatives. So the minutes are adopted as written. Next item on the list on our agenda is the minutes from the last meeting, October 2nd, 2020.
And I second the approval.
Okay. Any discussion of the minutes? Corrections? Changes? If not, then we'll go ahead and vote. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Okay, ayes have it. That brings us down to item number 4 on the agenda, which is discussion and action items. And we're going to ask Ms. Tori Gangland, Joe Sanchez, Leroy Deschamps, and Pam Reed, Donna Reed, to discuss these items. John, you want to take the lead on that?
Colonel Leeds, can I say something before we move forward, please?
Oh, yes.
Colonel Leeds?
Okay. Yes, I recognize you, Derek. Go ahead.
I think it's just very important now. I don't know when the bus cleaning item number is. I know it's one of them. And I just think we've been kicking this can down the road for a long time. And I understand we have expectations, but now I just feel that this needs to be sent back to service. And I'm asking Ms. Moose, and she's on the phone, to listen to what I have to say about this issue, is that I just feel that this is a service issue, and we need to be in the situation now. We have had strong expectations over the last 6 months, and for some reason we have not had the results, and it seems like it's one side looking at the other. And I want to be in the situation, Chairman of the subcommittee, Madam Chair, moved to be on an inspection, to be on site, to actually see what is really going on, and go from there, because it's just getting ridiculous to a point where the buses are not clean on one side and the buses are clean on the other, and I just think it's time to inspect that site, and just from the committees. So I would love to table that item, but I understand we got to give a report. But I just think it's time to inspect. Thank you, Colonel Leaks.
All right.
And if it's not inappropriate, Mr. Chairman, if I would just ask John to be sure that's on the service committee agenda for next month, and that you and the staff, both you and the RAPDev staff, will be ready to discuss that.
Yes, that's not an issue, but I want to make sure. So, do you not want to discuss it since it is related to COVID-19 today?
I do. I'm not trying to. I'm trying to table the fact of making sure that we don't get in a finger pointing of who's doing what. I'm asking Madam Chair of the Service Committee and to work with you, John, to make sure that the Service Committee members are able to be on site to see what is really going on with this bus cleaning.
Okay.
Okay, I'm glad you repeated that, because I didn't get that clear, but we can certainly do that.
Okay, well, I know I can tell you that just as an FYI, the chairman did come by and look at some of the cleaning issues earlier this week.
I understand that, but as a service committee, I think it behooves us as service committee for the service committee members to actually see what is going on site.
Okay.
Okay. I tell you what, then why don't we do this? We'll go ahead and take the report, and then you can make a motion to have service take a deeper look on site at what's going on up there. You can always do that. And
thank you, sir. Thank you.
That is, if the committee members vote for us to do it. So, and I think we will. Okay, so let's go ahead and do 4A and just get the report. Just see how things are going on these items here on 4A, pages 6 through 16. Who wants to take the lead on that?
That'll be Leroy DeChamps.
Okay, Leroy, go ahead.
Okay, currently what we'll have, we have Joe Sanchez, RATP Dev. He will be giving us an update from RTP Dev's point. So we'll let him go first.
All right. Mr. Sanchez.
Good afternoon, board members, Colonel, Ms. Mood, Mr. Huggins. Here's the update regarding the status of the operation. We have out of the members that were sick with positive COVID-19, 4 of them are back to work. 4 came back with negative test results. 2 members are still out. 1 did a retest. She tested positive again, and she's going for another retest next week. And the other gentleman is also going for a retest as well. Food service delivery. So far, from October 1st to the 16th, we have an estimated 130 food deliveries. There are several days, according to TCS, some of the sites and locations are dropping off because they're, slowly opening back up. So there's a decline there based on the report from TCS. But from the 1st to the 16th is an estimated 130 food deliveries. So regarding the cleanliness of the vehicles, and I agree. I don't want to go back and forth with, it's finger pointing. I don't believe in that. I do know that there were some concerns or issues with the bus wash, and I know those incidents have been occurring since for about 2 years is what I've been told. I have Jerry Bowers, who's our facility maintenance personnel. He's known about the issues for about 2 years. He's got parts unordered for apparently a red brush on the right side that seems to, continuously have issues. The bus wash is about 15 years old, according to the company that installed the bus wash. They're going out of business. We have another vendor that's going to give us a complete quote. Jerry Bowers is also waiting for 2 additional quotes to get that information and submit upstairs for John's approval. But it's very difficult to get parts. We had another vendor come out, do a site visit just to check it out, to see what they can do. And they said it's very hard because the company that installed it is going out of business, and they're the ones that are have the proprietary parts. So it's very difficult. It's challenging for Jerry Bowers to make sure that it's maintained properly and efficiently. However, in the meantime, we have buckets on order, brushes on order, and supplies for tires and wheel cleaning. We're waiting for the order to get delivered, so that way we can give that to the service line. So that way that continues, keep moving forward with that, even though we're encountering an issue with the bus wash. TCS is very much aware of the extra effort and manpower it's going to take. And as soon as the equipment and supply shows up, we will give that to them, so that way they can maintain and handle. We have Capital Building Services currently doing the detailing and fogging of the vehicles, as well as TCS nightly. There wasn't, I guess, an audit conducted by someone, and there were some findings. In most of the findings were that, one bus dirty wheels, another bus was the rear. But again, the buckets, brushes, and the supplies that we ordered should take care of that and mitigate that issue. We did hire a detailing company that is going to work very closely with TCS, beginning November 1st, which is CarePro, and that scope of work that they're going to be responsible for is going to include fogging and detailing. So they will work close and hand to hand with TCS to make sure. I know the team has sent up some cleaning lists and fogging reports and detailing reports. In some instances, buses showed up more than once on one occasion, and that's due to the fact that the team, one member of the team got on the bus and said, hey, you guys need to redo this bus, and that's where you get duplicates showing up on the report, just to make sure that they get it right. Because everybody's cleanliness is different from the next person's cleanliness, so we just need to make sure that it's done. At the end of the day, we're taking the safety of the employees and the passengers as a priority. We understand that we have some challenges that we need to work through, and we continue to work through. And I believe that having the new vendor start November 1st is taking us in the right direction, to be honest with you. So then that way there's the level of expectation that is to be expected. RATP Dev committed to providing a certain level of standard and service, and I believe that RATP Dev is doing everything possible to meet and exceed that expectation. The building is getting fogged. It's on schedule with Capital Building Services at the moment. It's fogging the buildings, fogging the gym area, and like I said, it's fogging the buses as well.
Okay, let me ask
Mr. Chairman?
One quick, let me go with this one, Ms. Mood.
Okay.
Let me just ask you, now you said that the parts are on order for the brushes and for the bus cleaning system. When do you think these parts will be in?
That
you got an idea?
Colonel, I cannot I can't give you an accurate response to that, sir. The bus wash is obsolete. They're waiting patiently for that. We keep calling to the company that installed it initially. The brushes and buckets, I have our parts clerk, Cindy, who is reaching out to the vendor who we purchased the buckets and the brushes and the tires and the supplies for the tires and wheels. I should have something back shortly as far as regarding an ETA. a lot of these items are high ticket items throughout the industry, so we're experiencing longer lead time than usual.
Mr.
Okay,
Chairman, if I may just add
one more. Let me finish with this, and then okay. Now I understand that, but my question is then, how are we going to solve that problem until these parts come? Can we do it manually, some kind of way, to get these buses looking cleaner and better than they look? Is that an option?
That is an option, Colonel. The team is very much aware that you need to work on the backs of the buses. To be honest, I can't say that every single bus in the yard when it's parked has a dirty rear. There may have some have a dirty rear, but TCS is working diligently, to make sure that all the buses are captured and clean in the back, and they're doing the best they can with the equipment they have for the wheels and tires.
Okay, John, Mr. CEO, John?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. So, and while I recognize some of the items that Mr. Sanchez stated, one thing to note is when it comes to facility-related items, regardless if it was under the previous contract or the current contract, the Common is responsible for paying for. And we can only make those necessary payments when we have the appropriate information to make those repairs. Since July 1st, under this contract, this is the first time I've heard that parts have been on order or parts have been non-existent or we've had problems for 2 years. So I just want to mention that we have no problem making whatever repairs is necessary, but that's why our contractor has a facility maintenance worker to tell us when things are broken so that they can get the 3 appropriate quotes, we'll authorize it, and then get the repairs made. We have funding available to do whatever repairs is necessary, but it's incumbent on our contractor to advise us when we need to make these repairs.
Well,
Colonel Lakes.
Okay, okay, you're next, Derek. I was just wondering about that because I was wondering who's going to pay for it, and I was wondering about the communication chain. And do you understand that, Mr. Sanchez? You do understand that the communication chain now? And maybe we can. Okay, all right. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Huggins.
I think Ms. Moog should go next.
Ms. Moog. Okay.
Yeah. Well, what I was waiting to just to be sure that I understood that the detailing, is that what covers the cleaning of the internal cleaning of the buses? Is that covered in the detailing? Because I want us to have buses that are clean on the outside, but from this committee's perspective, I'm particularly care that we have that the cleaning of the interior of the buses is adequate. So are we having any problems with that?
Okay, that I want to caveat on, if I would. I concur with Ms. Mood. This is a COVID-19 meeting. This is not a service meeting. And for us to get bogged down, and I strictly said that we should move this to service because we don't want a finger pointing, and that would just happen for the last 10 minutes. So if we could look at cleaning inside, defogging, COVID issues, dealing with cleaning, this is what the COVID meeting is about. It's not about detailing and brushes.
Mr. Huggins, just as an FYI, in our COVID-19 operational policy, we're supposed to detail the buses weekly, and we're supposed to expend extra resources, which we have budgeted in our CARES Act budget, to do the extra cleaning efforts to make sure that we're keeping our passengers safe from exposure. So that's the main reason why it's on this committee's agenda.
I don't understand where we're going to brushes outside of the buses and wheels in a COVID-19 meeting.
I understand that. What you got to say about that, John? I mean, I guess when they clean the bus, though, they're talking about cleaning it internally and externally.
That's correct. From a contractual standpoint, as you see in the packet, all the requirements related to cleaning both inside and outside is what needs to be done weekly on 104 vehicles from a detailing perspective. And then, of course, on a daily perspective, there's also another list. So we're just advising the committee of just some of the challenges that are occurring, and that we're continuing to work with our contractor to address them. But this is just more of an advisory.
Okay. All right, then. Well, okay.
Mr. Chairman, I had one other thing on my mind as I listened to Mr. Sanchez, and I appreciate the detail that you gave us in terms of some of the things that you're encountering, and I want to support what's been said about making sure that that the connections get made internally, so the response can be quick and complete. But when you talked about having people cleaning and maybe different perspectives on what was clean enough, what came immediately to my mind, I mean, this is the way my mind works, is a checklist. I mean, is there a checklist that the people doing the cleaning on each bus and I'm really focusing, as Derek talked about, us on the interior of the bus for this COVID committee. Is there a checklist that every person who's cleaning checks as they do each part of the cleaning on the inside, so that, I mean, that's really protection for the people doing the cleaning as well as for the people who will be riding the bus. And I mean, several years ago, there was a whole book written about checklists because it was really, the focus of that was on how to avoid medical problems and medical oversights in hospitals. But what they went to was, what does a pilot do every time before he takes off? And as well as he knows his plane, he has a checklist and he has to go down every item on that list. And that came to my mind as a principle that we could apply to, particularly to the internal cleaning of the buses, because both our riders' health depends on that, our drivers' health depends on that, and I want the workers who are doing the work to know that they have something that they can check themselves to be sure that it's complete. That was a longer speech than I meant to make, but I hope I made the point.
It was to the point. It was good. Yeah. Okay, well, let me ask you, do you have a checklist? Because I'm looking at on page 17 of our package, and it looks like it has a pretty detailed listing of things that need to be done. But I'm just wondering if you have a checklist type thing, or is that something that, that would help in getting these, helping us get the buses up to stuff?
Yes.
Do you have a checklist?
Our subcontractor TCS does have a checklist, and they check off what they did, what was not done. Corey sends the information upstairs to Tanisha, and she goes through it, and she lets us know, hey, was this bus checked for hand sanitizer wipes, for example? And in many cases, no, because the service line was, refilling the hand sanitizer dispensers instead of including wipes as well. But there is a checklist. So let's say John does one bus, right? And, here comes Michael, just doing a follow-up checkup to see, let's say what John missed or what he didn't miss or what he caught, and that again is the team is double and triple checking themselves. And we have our quality assurance manager who conducts bus audits as well. And, she keeps us on task, whether, it's a positive or a negative, and she lets us know, it's like, hey, every bus that I went on, the hand sanitizer wipes weren't there. Why is that? And at the time, we didn't know where they were, but we do now. And they are getting on the buses. So the next inspection the next audit that she does have, we're going to know for sure that it's passed and it's a non-issue because it's been taken care of. So we're doubling, tripling checking ourselves. And again, members that don't complete their checklist, as they should, those employees are brought into the office and they're coached and counseled. In some instances, because of the severity, they're sent home. But we try not to do that. I believe the best thing to do is to retrain your folks, so that way they have a better understanding. And if you make it personal to them, they take more of an initiative to get the job done properly and as it should. But we do have a checklist. The team, I believe John, I believe Leroy and Tanisha have those checklists. And they let us know if we're out of compliance regarding those checklists, and if she has questions, she brings them up to us.
But you do,
Mr. Chair, can I make a motion?
Okay. Go ahead, make a motion. I recognize Derek.
I would like to make a motion that this goes back to Service Committee to look at the cleanliness of the buses and how we move forward with an on-site inspection or meeting, and ask Madam Chair move to make sure that all committee members are aware that this meeting will be on site, hopefully, and hopefully at the next meeting on our Wednesday Service Committee meeting, that not only Mr. Sanchez but also I think his name Mr. Corey will be present also, along with our staff, the common staff.
Okay. Now that you made that motion.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. Now remember, we got a recorder who's recording this. Can you make that one more time a little slower so she can get all the information? Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead, Derek.
I simplify it. I make a motion that we work with all committee members on the Service Committee to have an on-site inspection with all members of RATDEV and comment staff available for questions.
Okay.
I'll accept that second. As my second.
Properly moved in second. Any further discussion on that subject before we vote? If not, all in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so the motion passes. No nays. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Let's move on to the next item, which would be testing. Who wants to take the next? Good report, by the way, Mr. Sanchez.
You're welcome.
Who's next?
Colonel Lieutenant Leroy Deschamps.
Okay.
On our testing, and starting from the point that Mrs. Sanchez mentioned, we haven't had any more positive cases since our last meeting, and with the number that we had, like you said, 4 of the employees are back at work and 2 are retesting. So we're grateful that that's holding steady. We continue to push all social distancing, wearing of masks here in the building, but also with our operators. We still have our COVID-19 policy in effect on our fleet. So we're still doing all those things. Also, too, we've got this month COVID-19 testing here at the facility. They're scheduled for October 27th. That's a Tuesday, from 8 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. And then Wednesday, October 28th, from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. For staff, operators. They will. Lovelace Family Medical will be here on site those days doing testing, and we also have the third, session would be like the first week in December. Also, I would like to just mention to the committee as far as what I'm thinking about, and like myself and Ms. Moo was just talking before the meeting started, after 40 days of being below 1,000, South Carolina yesterday we had 1,072 positive cases. So we were trending down, and now, and I've been watching it the past week when it went from 200 or 300 a day up to 500, 600, 700, 800. Now it's over 1,000. So this is still a challenge that we face, and it has to remain a priority of ours for our staff, our employees, but also for our riders and the community. We have to take the lead as far as what all we can do to make sure everyone is safe out there. And what I want to do also too is when I talk with Lovelace and we're verifying our next session, I want to go ahead and start looking at January and February, because I think the uncertainties that we're facing right now and getting into the flu season, and like I said, the cases are increasing. I just think that this is something that we need to, again, prepare ourselves for as we go into the new year. So I would like to talk with Lovelace Family Medical about, January, February, possibly even March. And I'd like to do that even if we don't, we're prepared. And so I want to mention that to the committee, and you can give me your feedback and your thoughts on that. But that's what I want to continue to do. Also, too, with the governor's executive order, that was extended October 9th for another 15 days. So that's still in place, and we continue to monitor that. As far as whether there's any change as it relates to transit, I haven't heard any talk or trends as far as that changing, when it relates to transit. I know with the restaurants going to full capacity, those are things that we have to watch, but sometimes I think the way we do those, sometimes they impact the positive results that we're in now. So I just feel that what we're doing a good job. We can always find areas to improve on and stay focused, but that still has to be our priority. And also, as an HR person, always the number one priority is the people. And that's where my focus is right now. And I think we just have to continue to be vigilant at what we're doing and making sure that our employees feel like we have their safety as a priority also.
So, Mr. Chairman,
right.
do we need to make a motion that authorizes the staff to continue to schedule testing of employees into as far into the future as they need to, and then we can cancel those if things suddenly get better. But do we need to take an action to authorize that?
I don't think so. What you think, John? Do we need to make a motion on that? Is this order standing that we already have?
Well, when the board approved the CARES Act budget last fiscal year, in that budget was extra COVID-19 testing. So we already have budgetary approval to make those expenses within our existing procurement policy. So no further action is taken. Once we fully expend those funds, then if the board would like us to continue, then yes, we would need some direction from this committee on still including those costs in our budget.
Okay, so
then I would just make a statement of support for the staff continuing to do regularly scheduled testing of our employees.
Okay.
Mr.
All right,
Chair.
Mr. Huggins. Yes, sir.
Ms. Mood and I are hitting on the same page. I wanted to make sure there was a strong statement that Mrs. Shams is making the right moves and being vigilant and diligent and staying ahead of everything. But I do want to be, and I will. It's short of a motion, but I want to applaud Mr. Deschamps on a good job and his staff and staying ahead of everything.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Good. Okay. Any other discussion on that particular item? If not, the, what do we have? We have the COVID-19 policy. Have we done that one, or do we need to do anything on that? Has that been covered?
No, sir, that's still, our COVID-19 policy is, still in effect, and we just continue to make sure that we're doing everything that we need to there.
Very good. Okay, thank you. All right, so we've covered item A. We covered 4A, 4B, 4C. Now the final one looks like it's 4 Delta, 4D. Update on the driver barrier.
Yes, I'll take this, and then I'd like Joe to respond as well. The Common has issued purchase orders to Creative Bus Sales for barriers on minivans, to Palmetto Bus Sales for barriers on cutaways, and to New Flyer for barriers on the big transit buses. So each of those vendors have reached out to our maintenance manager at RATP Dev to start coordinating on installation. So Joe, if you could maybe talk about those 3 specific purchase orders and where we are with that.
So to the best of my knowledge, John, those were ordered on Monday, and we're waiting for delivery. And
no, they weren't ordered on Monday. No, that's incorrect. They've been ordered for several months. They reached out to maintenance to coordinate installation for each of those 3. One of them is an outstanding issue related to the minivans that we've been waiting for a response from Corey and you on, related to the minivans having only 1 driver's seat and an issue with it having limited recline if that barrier gets installed. So right now the ball's in your guys' court on how they're getting installed.
Okay, so I have to reach out to Ronnie to get further clarity on that. Okay, because I believe it was 2 different things that were conducted on Monday. I'll call Ronnie to get clarity. But I believe Ronnie's been in communication with the barrier vendor to set something up as far as the details. I'm not sure because I'm not included in the communication with what's going on with the barriers. But I will get clarification on that.
Well, Joe, you have been CC'd on the communication.
Just on the invoicing, that was it.
No, Joe, you've been CC'd on the communication on all 3. But nevertheless, if you can get that information, that would be helpful.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, go ahead and get what information you need on that, Ms. Sanchez, and let us know, and give John an update on it so we'll know, because we want to have every barrier installed before the end of the year. And so, John, you told me it was on schedule for that, did you not?
Yeah, from the emails that are on schedule at this point, I've just directed them to work with RATP Dev to coordinate installation in accordance with just how we deliver service. So that's why I turned the response over to RATP Dev to respond to.
Okay. Well, Ms. Sanchez, you will get that information back to John ASAP, will you not?
Yep, as soon as I get the particulars on the installation of the barrier and scheduling and everything, yes, I will get it. As soon as I got it, I will send it upstairs.
Yes. Okay.
We do need a response on the minivan issue as well. That's been outstanding for about 3 weeks now.
Okay. And include that too, Mr. Sanchez, please.
Okay,
and
you got it.
We go from there, okay? All right. Any other discussion on item 4D? Update of the barriers? If not, that brings us to item 5. Adjournment.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to add one thing, just so you're aware, really quickly, before you adjourn. We didn't talk about the executive order, and the governor did sign another executive order this week, extending the state of emergency for 15 days.
I think Leroy discussed that.
Oh, he did?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't hear it. I apologize.
Okay, yeah, okay, go ahead, all right. All right, go ahead, Ms. Mood.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
And I second that motion. The meeting is adjourned. A great meeting, I appreciate it. Have a nice weekend. Thank you.
Thank you.
Out.
Thank you.
All right. All right.